Wholeness and balance to all my people. Yep. I just wanted to slide in here real quick, man, and show y'all something. You know, I know this right here is pretty like big deal, like a pretty big deal. It's big news, like especially for people that's trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I'm here actually, man, to bring y'all some good information. You know, some stuff to help you put more of the pieces of the puzzle together. So what I wanted to show y'all is something, you know, like over here in America, I know we real big on Christianity. Not just Christianity, but Christianity and Jesus. But I want to show you something, like even in Christianity, we have this Jesus character, and he's playing out the role of the Messiah. But if you go over into, like I say, like if you study like the Talmud, like I'm showing you here, Talmudism, and who is Damuzi? And then what you will see is that it's the same type of story taking place in another place on the planet and being used there the same way the Christ story is being used here, to not just control, but to shape and mold the infrastructure of your subconscious, and as well as your imagination. But I really just want to show you who all behind this, so you can see how fictitious and fake the reality actually is, how much power and control these people actually have, the games that they're playing, and you know better, like what all we can do to better help each other, protect ourselves as well as each other from the type of things that's happening and going on. Man, it's my honor to actually be here with y'all today and able to bring some of this information to you today, to say that I've taken the initiative or the liberty within myself to care so much about my fellow brother and my sisters that I would take all of my, and I'm not going to say undivided, I'm going to say all of my time, and committed to actually helping find not just the answers, but a resolution to what we can do to better help ourselves. So I do want to continue here. I want to show y'all exactly why I got this page pulled up and why I'm even starting here. I don't want to take too much of your time because I'm actually, you know, I'm going into something else, but I wanted to present something here for you guys. It's important for me that you all know what's going on just as much as I want to know what's going on. And any information, man, like I'm serious, any information that you guys have, like share it with me. Present it. I'm not that type of person. I'm an information geek. So trust me, like I won't fight you and, you know, debate with you, argue and do all of that about information. I promise. So I don't want to keep y'all too strong and too long. What I want to show you is this right here. Now, who were the Khazaria people, right? Well, the Khazarians, the people from Khazaria. Now, I'm not going to lie. I've heard this word, the Khazars or the Khazarians, so many times throughout my life, but never ever in such pertinent scope, or never inside of a context that I would see it as being so important that I learn who these people are. So any information that y'all got about them, please share. Now, I'm gonna just give you a quick basic run through real fast, man, because I don't want this video to be too long. I just wanted, you know, it's Wednesday, and I just wanted to get in and show some love, man. You know, man, I love my people, man. And you know, when it comes to this information, and first of all, when I say my people, I mean the human race as a whole, as a complete race. not to mention the stars, the plants, you know, the trees, the, you know, the animals, the, like, you just gotta love everything, because in this reality, everything is co-creator, and inside of its God state of existence is manifesting this reality with you. Oh yeah, it's holding in space with you, man. So let's just get into this real fast. Now, the first thing I want to show you is the history of the Khazars, right, is somewhat disputed, although Benjamin H. Friedman, who was a well-respected Jewish businessman, has given many speeches on the Khazars, whom he has stated were pagans who converted to Judaism, and therefore they had no genetic lineage to the Jewish religion or race. Now, just wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Because see, hey, I know my people, boy. I know my people. The first thing we finna do is jump up out of our seat and start screaming. See, I told you, the black man is the original Jews. We were the Jewish people because such and such said so. But what I want to show you is that's okay. I love information, and I love the brothers and the sisters that came before me with this information, because I would not be here nor in the condition that I am in mentally had it not been for those brothers and sisters. So man, I promise you, there's not a one that I want to leave out. So I just say to all of the ancestors, known and unknown, Ashe. Now, let's get into this. With the destruction of their own country, Khazaria, the Khazars traveled west and settled throughout Europe and Russia, whereby the latter half of the 18th century, they had gained positions of authority and power in most European governments, including England. Although they primarily settled in modern Russia, which had formerly been Tartaria, now, and you can see where it says Bolshevism and definitions page. Now, I don't want to pull up everything here because I want to keep going. Now, but you guys can actually pull that up. If you see this, you can just, man, like, look at this. Take this, Khazaria, Talmudism, and I guarantee you, like, a lot of people be like, man, well, what you use to pull it up? Man, just take one word that you hear somebody say. One word, that's all it takes. You start with a word, man, and you'd be surprised at where you end up at the end of finding out where that word began, what types of symbols were used to create that word, and all types of other stuff that go along with it. So here we go. Let's get back to these Khazarians real fast, man, because I'm going to show you something about these brothers and sisters. And I ain't knocking it. Bro, like, I mean, you know, you got to understand, we all got our selfish ways, man. With the destruction of their own country, Khazaria, the Khazars traveled west and settled throughout Europe and Russia, where by the latter half of the 18th century, they had gained positions of authority and power in most European governments, including England, although they primarily settled in modern Russia, which had formerly been Tartaria. They had also gained control of the banking/financial industry and became bankers to the European royal families. Now check me out, bag it up, baby. They had also gained control of the banking/financial industry and became bankers to the European royal families. And over time, they were able to control the fate and destinies of countries, eventually establishing the modern day global central banking system. And I know a lot of us know something about this modern day central banking system that is actually being spearheaded and ran by the Rothschild family. Now, these days, all of the 13 dynastic banking families, such as the Rothschilds, etc., are all descendants of the Khazarians, right? So now it is currently being hypothesized that it was in fact the Khazars who had been defeated by the Tartarian Empire, which had forced the population to flee their own country of Khazaria, which led them to migrate to the west. And over a period of time, the Khazars joined forces with Europe I'm sorry, with European monarchs to wage the wars against Tartaria from 1812. Now just check that out. Now we're going all the way up into the 1800s. So when I go off and to start explaining to you how you can take all of the history that you read inside of America's textbooks or historical books today that we consider is history, and you start to take those maps and timelines and dates and people and events and you add them all up. And then you take all of that information and now don't separate any of it. Keep it all inside of a nice little configuration so that you can go and get another, let me see, a layout or a format of events that were maybe recorded inside of other countries like Russia, Ukraine, Tibet, China, Australia. You see what I mean? Romania. Like, you have so many different other countries that not only do they decide differently, like right now, what is and what is not feasibly correct to put across like their media broadcasting centers or stations, but even at the inception or the rise of those nations, they had different types of limitations or restrictions on what was deemed to be appropriate. Like there were less media control involved. For instance, you can see this inside of the reality today. You see how, for me, I'm at an age that when I was a child, you could see that the government officials, police, everything, when they entered our communities, they entered our communities with some of the most, and excuse my language, when I get tongue tied, when I'm when my heart is in it, but they came into the communities with a little bit of respect. It's like they respected the knowledge of knowing that they were entering someone else's home. And you start to watch where all of this started to fade and transition as different laws got enacted into play. And, you know, people started to come into office and different things had created ripple effects into our communities that were being done by people that were being uprooted or taken out of office fast, but their work wasn't being, you know, retracted or overturned or snatched back up out of the reality with them. So, you know, this is what we get. But anyway, I just wanted to go into that to say that when you go to the other side of it and start to see that other people had information, and, you know, just as well, we were recording what we would consider as our history. History was being recorded by other people in other places at the same exact time. And yes, I agree. All information should not be taken so literal as to abandon everything that we know to adopt just this new form of information and create the entire reality and how we interface with the future of it from that foundation or template alone. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you understand the importance of coming from a place like I do and being so depressed, compressed, oppressed, repressed, and stressed by information in the presentation of how it was presented to you, then you would understand the seriousness of just the simplicity of understanding truth. Because truth, it really has this ability to set you free. But just as well as the truth has this ability to set you free, it has this ability to imprison you just as well. So now, the reason I go into showing you who these Khazarian people were is because I want to go further into it. Now, I want you to go up into here. Because I'm going to show you something. Okay. Lord Rothschild discusses how his family created Israel. Now, we finna get into this real fast because this is very important. Just give me 1 second. I don't want to jump the gun. Right here. Now, an authentic and complete issue of the Niles Weekly Register, November 28th, 1829. Now, check these dates because I'm finna show you something that's finna say that, hey, listen, man, just as well as you have these people manipulating the strings of history, rewriting, you know, their version of it, man, you still got like people like, say for me, I document my perspective of history or my experiences with the reality right now. And as being the type of a person that I am and the road that I'm traveling, these documents will be found by somebody somewhere someday. No matter what takes place on this planet, the history of it will still be on this planet. And back then, you can say that literally we may think that we're more advanced technologically and within a cultural context, but man, those people were much more advanced than us because even like, just think, we use written paper. All it takes is for written paper to get wet. You see what I mean? So like, so many different things that they did that were meticulously calculated and carried out to the best of its ability, like engraving hieroglyphs and, you know, sigils and things like that onto stones, you know, cuneiforms and, you know, things like that, tablets. And, but I want to go further into this, and I'm sorry, I know I go, you know, into other areas often, but it just, you know, keeps you very alert and aware to what's taking place in the reality with me. Okay. So now from the interior, a half-column report, Jerusalem. In small part, there is a report that the Rothschilds have purchased Jerusalem. We see nothing improbable that in the pecuniary distress of the Sultan, he should sell some part of the domains to preserve the rest, or that the Rothschilds should purchase the ancient capital of their nation. Just wait a minute, man. So now I'm going to show you why I say that this is all Israel. I'm sorry, and I'm not saying that everybody in Israel are bad people. No, that's not what I'm saying. People look at America as a terrible place, but they don't realize that you really do have good people in America too. People that think America has gone way too far, long ago, been overstepped its boundaries, like, and has gone so far down the rabbit hole that the only way to repair it is to literally destroy it and rebuild it. Seriously. Truth be told, not even have to destroy it violently. I mean, uproot the entire structural template that serves as this democracy or democratic republic, because I'm finna go further. Oh, yeah. So let's get down here. Jerusalem. There is a report that the Rothschilds have purchased Jerusalem. We see nothing improbable that in the pecuniary distress of the Sultan, he should sell some part of his dominions to preserve the rest, or that the Rothschilds should purchase the ancient capital of their nation. They are wealthy beyond the desire, perhaps even the avarice, and so situated, it is quite reasonable to suppose that they may seek something else to gratify their ambition that shall produce most important effects. If secured in the possession, and which may be brought about by money, they might instantly, as if were gathered, as it were, gather a large nation together so to become capable of defending itself and having a wonderful influence over the commerce and condition of the caste, rendering Judea again the place of deposit of a large. Hold it. Y'all know these people ain't listen to this, man. Hold on. Let me go past this. Let me get up out of here right quick. Because I'm finna show you something that when we get to talking about And you know, I don't believe in the race as black, you know, but just for a lack of better words, you know, blacks, and we got, you know, we fighting over these people's jargon and their created crap, because all they got to do is tell us that something was ancient and we'll automatically assume it was from Africa and it belonged to us. They can create something as a prison and we'll do it. Like, we'll take it. We'll run with it. Even if it's a lie, we won't know it, because we don't even understand who's creating the information that we're taking and running with as reality anyway. So listen, check this out. Listen to what Lord Rothschild Jacob discusses on how his family created Israel. And you know, these are not my websites, man. I found this is information. Hey, listen, I'm just a researcher.
It's 67 words long, it's 100 years old, and it changed the course of history for the Middle East and the Jewish people. The Balfour Declaration, the expression of the British government's support for a Jewish home in Palestine, was sent by British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour to the second Lord Rothschild. I'm here in Buckinghamshire at Waddesdon Manor to speak with the fourth Lord Rothschild about the Balfour Declaration, what it means for Britain, for the Jewish people and the Rothschild family.
The Foreign Office, November the 2nd, 1917. Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet.
So it's possibly the most famous letter in modern Jewish history, and it begins with 3 words: Dear Lord Rothschild. Why was it that this letter was sent by the Foreign Secretary to your great uncle Walter?
It's an interesting question, because he was really interested in ornithology, although he became interested in Zionism. I think the reason was this, that it was primarily a movement from Eastern Europe, but they didn't clarify who was in charge of that movement. And in addition, it was, after all, in Great Britain. So they felt that the Rothschild family should be the one to whom it was addressed. And Walter was Lord Rothschild, and he was a Zionist. And those really are the background reasons.
So Walter received the Balfour Declaration, and I have a copy here. And I wonder if I could possibly ask you to read it for us.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. I'm going to put on my spectacles to make sure I read it accurately. His Majesty's government view with favour the establishment of Palestine as a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavours to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country. I should be grateful if you would bring this declaration to the knowledge of the Zionist Federation. Yours, Arthur Balfour.
And here it is, the Balfour Declaration. What do you feel when you see it here?
I genuinely feel it's one of the most extraordinary moments in the history of the Jewish people. If you think it took 3,000 years to get to this.
And of course the Rothschild family then as now filled 2 roles, because it wasn't just a leader of diaspora Jewry, it also played a very significant role in the early years of the establishment of the pioneer communities in Israel. I just want to revisit for a moment your cousin Dorothy, who you mentioned, who at an extraordinarily young age, still in her teens, played such a critical role as a go-between and a facilitator for Chaim Weizmann. Can you say a little bit about that?
Well, she married my cousin Jimmy when she was 17.
So this is your cousin Dorothy, Dolly.
Yep, Mrs. James de Rothschild.
And from her teenage years onwards, she was a major supporter of Israel, wasn't
So what I'm really trying now, where I'm at with this family is just to go on. I mean, it's going to show you that, man. And if you pay attention to what people be saying, like when he first came off and said, you know, his uncle Lord Walter was a master in ontological science. Man, y'all better study what that is. That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, these people be communicating in our face as if we'll never figure out what, like, how to put all of this together and create a reasonable enough opinion from it. Now, check me out. I'm finna show you something because I don't want to get stuck right here. We got to go into something because I'm finna show you something. If you don't understand what took place is, why do you think there's so much beef and tension between Palestine and Israel? This is Great Britain that gave the Rothschild family the okay to take these people's land, make it their own, and create their own government out of it. Function on these people's land the way they want to. And now you see how Israel has been doing the Middle East over the course of the last couple of 100 years. They have bombarded the entire reality seriously. And that's something that we actually need to be conscious of. You see what I mean? So understand this. If you don't, I'm going to show you something else before I get into that. Now, because I'm finna show you that who we call it, and you heard them say, you know, it's took thousands of years, right, to get into this. Well, we know that the Jewish people and the Hebrew Israelites and all of that old stuff, all of those names didn't exist no thousands of years ago. In fact, what we consider as the Hebrew language is originally the Yiddish speaking language, right? It was created out of Yiddish. Now, you know, a lot of people just, I mean, people fight and argue subjects and subject matter based upon the level of information that they have, as if the level of information they have is the entire collective of information regarding a situation or pertaining to a situation, and that there is nothing else out there about this situation or could never be refuted. Like, the thing we know about science is every scientific discovery and finding that we have ever came across, everything, religiously, politically, everything has been upgraded throughout the times to fit the measurements of the time in question. So it goes to show you that even religion is alterable according to what is considered socially acceptable. You see what I mean? So here we go. Now, who were the Khazarians? Like I've been showing y'all. Now, somebody said, I want to go into this because somebody made a crazy comment on my page, man, and I ain't mad at you, brother. Like, hey, listen, I understand everything you're saying, man, because listen, I question everything too. And when I presented this to you, man, like I can tell by your response that, you know, you was really just being negative about it all, but in reality, it was nothing to be negative about. Information is valuable. I know some people don't value information or believe information is valuable because they really don't care about what course or direction their life is heading in. Like, they don't even have enough vision to see anything outside of what's taking place for them at that specific moment. Even if it's negative, it conquers them inside of that space in reality because they have no vision. But the one thing I want to say is, man, you start to see the importance that information plays and the ability of people to, you know, create a reality around like everything that they think they are, everything that they perceive as them. It's information. It's things that we accept as history and belief systems, and and then people will tell you, I don't believe in any of that stuff. But you do. You just don't think you do, and you don't want to admit that you do because you're inside of a very argumentative, angry, and bitter place inside your reality that you haven't even given yourself the ability or the opportunity to be more honest with yourself. Like get more free inside of yourself. Don't be so angry with the reality because information, like it's real. It'll set you free. Like, it releases certain tensions in the body, that are built based upon belief systems that are built based upon the level of, or the types of information. Like they say, control of behavior. Control of information, you control the behavior. So check this out. Did the Neolithic and Neolithic Southeastern Europe develop a system of writing? Did the Danube script predate similar evolutionary trends in Mesopotamia and Egypt by almost a millennium? From almost a half a century, the group of the 3 inscribed Tartarian tablets and their script-like signs are the focal point for the fierce debate regarding both the spatial and temporal incubators of writing and chronology and location of the cradle regions of civilizations in Europe. Although evidence of same and similar signs had been known since the late 19th century excavation at the important Neolithic site of Turdos in Romanian, Turdos in Hungarian, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, man. I know somebody can help me better, but trust me, man, I'm not, I don't have the best accent when it comes to being able to communicate in foreign tongues. In Transylvania, I liked it, that show, man. It was the discovery in that movie, the children's movie, I'm sorry. But in Transylvania, it was the discovery in 1961 of 3 inscribed tablets at the nearby settlement of Tartaria that kindled a wave of controversy regarding the possibility that writing in the Danube basin predated the earlier Sumerian cuneiform and Egyptian hieroglyphics. Now check me out. Am I saying, hey, drop everything, come quick? I found the world at the end of the tunnel. No. Exactly. I'm saying quite the opposite. But what I'm saying is, let's take all of this now. If it's so easy for you to identify yourself as an American, or so easy for you to identify yourself as Russian or African American or Spanish, or you see what I'm saying, Latino, or whatever it is, Puerto Rican or Honduran, or whatever you identify yourself as, that means that you were taught to identify yourself by that specifically, by someone else that was taught that by someone else, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, until you get to a point of origin. And they were taught that by someone else that introduced this information into their imagination. So everything that you know about the reality and your way of interfacing or interacting with the reality is based upon the information that you have. So adding this information, which we can see that it has to have some type of substance to it, because governments have conspired, like whole governments. And we can't ignore that these are entire governmental systems that have developed their whole foundations around suppressing the information of what our true history is. That even the lesser of 2 evils was to create a story of slavery. You see what I'm saying? And let's just be honest. Everybody has a slavery story. In America, blacks have the most nefarious slavery story. But if you go into other parts of the country, they each have a slavery story. But what I'm showing you is that even the story that was presented to the people in the book Roots, written by Alex Haley, was information that was gathered from FBI files. You see what I'm saying? It was not actual character of events, but now we see a systematic layout or rollout of slavery taking place with heavily melanated brothers and sisters inside of what we call today as Africa or the Middle East, which was all Tartaria. Now, I'm just gonna go up in here, man, and show you, because I really just wanna, and I got some images. Oh yeah, I got some. You know, I got some maps. You know, I got some images for the naysayers. Now, therefore, they have been used by some scholars as evidence for a low chronology for the Danubian Neolithic. The Tartarian tablets might belong to the Vinca sea migrations, when such a writing system was largely used not only in the Southeast Europe, but also in the area of Proto-Sumeria civilizations. Now, what I'm trying to show y'all is that the tablets that I'm speaking of, these Tartarian tablets, predate Sumerian tablets or the Sumerian civilization by up to at least 1,000 years. So all that's saying is the history now has been carbon dated to extend further back into the history than the Sumerian history, or what we would consider as the, because you got to understand, there's the Mesoamerican, like, man, the Mesopotamia, if you really study it, it was a multicultural or multi-denominational or racial group of people too. So this is what I'm trying to show you, who we're going into, because we is not finna get off of this subject with these Khazarian people who we know, and I'm going to go deeper into showing is, or are connected to the ancient, or what we consider as the ancient Phoenician people, who are literally at the very forefront of all of our languages and just, oh my God, so much. You better study the Phoenicians. So it just goes to show you everything that's taking place here, man. Like, not everything, but some of the things that's taking place here. Now, let me go up a little bit further, because now here go, you guys can take this site and get a little bit deeper into it. Let me get a little bit deeper. Let me go a little bit further. Now, the bones are broken in a natural way and not scorched. So check this out. Now, the direct analysis of the bones established that they are broken in a natural way and are not burnt. Not at all. The bone fragments are of a dark brown color. Therefore, it was legitimate to suppose it was the consequence of thermic stress suffered by them during their history. It could have implied the partial or total carbonization of the collagenous, converting it by charring into elementary carbon. So let me see, chemical tests at the laboratory of the Department de la Terra of, hey, you know what? And I don't understand how to say that, but I want to go back and say something. Hold on 1 second, because you know something? I read something about this, the sign on these tablets may being able to connect to Romania. So somebody in Romania can actually help us gain a clearer or better understanding, as if maybe these were, because I like that cross. You know, the cross is what catches me into being able to see like something that's taking place here. But I want to know if these symbols have some type of religious characteristic or connotation, Or you see what I mean? Like, are they just someone's art? Do they, like, are they personal? Do they belong to some type of shaman, some type of priest? You see what I mean? Like, what are the relevance of these symbols, man, or insignias? Like, we need to know this. Like, oh my God, just imagine the type of information that can be hidden inside of something so small as these little, and they say that these little tablets are like 3 inches. So they're so small. Most definitely. And I guarantee you that they're going to have to probably make it to the Ashmolean Museum maybe too, where you got all the rest of the tablets at. And if you don't notice, like, you can go into the Ashmolean, you can go online and look up the Ashmolean Museum of Art and Science, and you can study, like, they got the Sumerian kings list. Man, you see that some kings even ruled 14,000 years, 28,000 years. Like, so it shows you that death and stuff like that, man, is something that was interwoven into the psyche of people. You see what I mean? So, like, and I'm just going a little further into it, man. I just want to give y'all some information at the same time, but I want y'all to go up. I want you to hear this too.
We already know that modern-day Israel, at least in an earthly sense, had a lot to do with the efforts of the Rothschilds. Some more symbolism that gives that away can be found in the Israeli Supreme Court. The Israeli Supreme Court was funded by the Rothschilds on the condition that they would choose the plot of land, would use their own architect, and that the price of its construction would never be made public. Built in 1992 in Jerusalem, it sits next to the Knesset, which is the main political building in Israel. Also funded by the Rothschilds, the Knesset is the legislative branch of the Israeli government, where laws are enacted and heads of state are elected. Here's the picture of the Supreme Court. This painting is at the entrance to the building and depicts the Rothschilds planning its design along with Shimon Peres and Isaac Rabin. A journey through the Supreme Court esoterically represents a path towards illumination. The ultimate goal of the journey is to reach this pyramid, which represents the most holy place in the building. Each side of the pyramid has a circular hole at the top representing the all-seeing eye. Let's do a picture walkthrough along this so-called path of illumination from the beginning, and do some symbol spotting along the way. Firstly, the person who enters the Supreme Court finds himself in a dark area in front of a stairway leading to a source of light at the other end. By climbing these stairs, the visitor gradually moves away from the darkness towards illumination. There are exactly 3 sets of 10 steps equaling 30 overall. These represent the first 30 degrees of Freemasonry. Since there are 33 degrees to Freemasonry overall, we will discover where the remaining 3 are later. You'll notice that the right side of the wall is made from ruffled rocks, reminiscent of ancient Jerusalem walls, while the left is smooth and modern. This represents the timeless nature of the occult teachings that have been transmitted from ancient Babylon to today, and is a repeated theme throughout the Supreme Court. Having climbed the steps, the visitor finds that he is on a high point with a great view over the rooftops of Jerusalem. We know that Satan wants to try and claim the high points in a region because he wants to be the most high, so no further explanation is required here. Embedded on the floor is a line which guides the traveller to the entrance of the library, which is placed right underneath the Great Pyramid. This is the path you walk to the holiest place, and of course the library itself represents knowledge. This picture is taken from the 2nd floor of that library. The library is actually divided into 3 levels, symbolically representing the final 3 degrees of Freemasonry. The first level is reserved for lawyers only, the second is reserved for judges only, and the books on the 3rd level can only be read by retired judges. This represents the movement through the degrees, acquiring higher and higher knowledge. The library functions like all occult hierarchies, where some
Hold on. Because I wanted to show you something. And now listen, it's a movie. It's an old show. I think it's called Upstairs, Downstairs. Where? Oh my goodness. And it just hit me too. Like, I remember something about this. And on the 1st floor So just imagine, like, this is how they divide castes and cultures of people. So you would have the rulers, the politics, and then the peasants, right? The rulers considered as the gods, you know. So now you had the language of the gods, language of the politicians, language of the peasants. But the peasants didn't know the language of the politicians. The politicians only knew the language of the peasants and the politicians. But the politicians didn't know the language of the gods, but the gods knew the language of all, right? Which were the rulers. So here we go. Inside of this TV show, they would show you how there were 3 floors. And on the first floor, there would be some things taking place, but they would show you that the people on the first floor were more of a consumer type nature of reality. They were totally oblivious to anything that were taking place on the second and the third floor. But if you go to the second floor, then they would show how everything that was taking place on the second floor was providing the characteristics for what was taking place on the first floor, without the people on the first floor knowing that the people on the second floor were the designers and builders of the fabrics they used to create their reality. So then they would show what was taking place on the third floor. And the third floor is where the master builders would be, right? But the people on the third floor were cognizant or very aware of what was taking place on the second and first floor. As, you know, the first and the second floor, people were only cognizant to what was taking place on their floor or beneath them. And it just goes to show you the structural layout of what they say. Where are the other 3 degrees? Because whether you know it or not, all of these people are just bankers. The judges, every one of them are just bankers. And they are all lawyers. They all belong to the same party. So when you go up inside of this court and you pay a lawyer thinking that this lawyer has the obligation to do what is right or best by you, no. It's a game being played. That lawyer signed up for and swore by the same oaths of affirmation as the state attorney and the judge. And they are all playing a part inside of the same show. And whether you know it or not, it's all set to render unto Caesar what is Caesar. Like they say, all roads lead to Rome. And this shit started way back in the days like of Babylon, where I'm telling you that it has been the same group of people that we know today as the Phoenicians, who have also been identified throughout history as the Khazarians, and not to mention your Jewish people today. Also the people that are inside of the Vatican and Rome. So what I'm saying is these people, you know, have extended their appendages and, you know, the likes of themselves into all governmental facilities and parties and powers and bodies throughout the planet, and using this fictitious currency system to manipulate everyone without everyone realizing that all we have to do is grab hands of each other today and say, we're done playing the game. We're done participating in the conscious game of slavery that these people have actually placed us inside of voluntarily, unknowingly, through contractual agreements. And I'm going to show you something about that. We're going to get a little bit further into this. Let me just give you this video because you know what? I'm going to come back to this. 1 second. I'm going to come back to this and I'm going to show you why. I have to show you why. It's very important, family. Okay. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. Just want to give it a chance to load up. I want to make sure it's loaded up on everybody, you know, before I get to chopping, talking, and running my mouth, to bumping these gums up in here. Somebody better stop him. But no, man, listen. So where was I going with this? Anyway, it's the reason I came up in here, man. I was talking. See what happened when you get to running your mouth, man, and playing games. Whatever I'm here for, it's up in here, though. I could tell you that. Or no, it's not. I know where it is. Give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second, family. I just got to show you this. It's very important. That man didn't do nothing else. He did, hey man, he said something intelligent in here. Let me see. Come on now. Load up for me, baby. Don't do me like this. Okay. I want to see if we get it loaded up. Let's go. I needed to show on y'all in. Hold on, family. Let me I got something for that. We're gonna get right back into this. I don't know what it is, man. It be tripping on me, but I'm gonna go back into it. I ain't tripping, and I know it's gonna pop up for y'all this time. Cause see, I gotta let y'all get this. Check that out. Now, I know y'all know who this is. You know, a lot of y'all claim him as your forefather, right? What they call that man? Oh, Thomas Jeffries, not Jefferson. I'm just talking, man. Excuse me. Now, if the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their money, the banks and corporate, I'm sorry, because it's written in the crazy language, man. Let me get this. Let me look at this off another screen, man. Okay, the banks and corporation that will grow up around them will deprive the people of their property until their children will wake up homeless. Okay, I got it now. Let me reread it for you. Now, if the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their money, the banks and corporations that will grow up around them will deprive the people of their property and their children will wake up homeless. Does this sound like, does this sound kind of familiar? Like, wait a minute, because I'm trying to see now. If I'm not mistaken, this is what we're doing. We're allowing somebody to make decisions for us as to what they deem is necessarily correct or incorrect for us. Now, some people might not think that that's crazy. Some people might not find that to be crazy at all or absurd. Some people may think, you know what, I love having someone else rule over my life and my reality. I love having someone tell me what to do, when to be able to do it, how to do it, where I can and cannot go. Because you know what? There is nothing else better that would make my day than to have a ruler. You know, just the very thought and idea of having this king and God, it just sets me on fire. Well, no, not me. I look at the reality from a much more reasonable standpoint. I look at it from the perspective of a sovereign soul that came into this reality with human rights, like the very being that took the liberty through anarchy and war to make these decisions for me. You got to understand, when somebody sit here and explain to you over 100 years, right? Over 100. Man, matter of fact, over 200 years ago, somebody explained to you the damage that would actually occur inside of your reality if you do this. If this takes place, if we allow banking systems and corporations to literally issue and control the flow of our currency. And we have done that. We have taken the faith away from us, and we have become so lazy and dependent upon a system that only has one thing in mind: power and control of not just the planet, but all of its life forms, all of its life forces, all of its elements, everything inside of it. Can you imagine the kind of power that it takes for a person to decide that upon themselves? That you want to control it all. That you make the decision to who gets to eat, who doesn't, who gets vaccinated, who don't, who gets to design this and who won't. Oh my God. It gets so much more deeper than this if you want to go into the extreme details of the things that's taking place behind the very fabrics of what's functioning this reality or this illusion. And so many of us know, so many of us study this and we understand what's going on. And we're just trying to pass this message and wake people up to this illusion that not only was slavery a choice, but slavery to this day is still a choice. Because slavery in the context that we have been taught to believe existed never existed. No. And I'm showing you that you should not need me to be able to go inside of the very documents that were fabricated in the first place by beings that are not even here anymore, to untie knots that have been tied inside of your brain to prove to you that something did not exist. When I can show you that just as real or unreal as you imagine that information to be, it's not the only form of information that existed or exists. So let us weigh it all together. Let us put it all together inside of a single pot. And if we can't, most of us can't take all of this information at one time and be able to abstract the most necessary particles of it and put together this puzzle, then man, don't try to do it by yourself. But don't be scared to come together with some of your brothers and sisters that are doing this. And if they shun you or push you away because they think they got it all figured out and that they are much more advanced in this than you are, then it's okay. They're the ones that are confused and lost upon that road that they call found. You go to the next best place. You'll find it. And that's all that meant is, man, you dodged a bullet. Don't be mad because people don't accept you. You dodged a bullet. Because, man, you'd be surprised at the type of stuff you get wrapped up in just by trying to be somewhere. And trying to be somewhere with the wrong people at the wrong time. So let me go a little bit further into this. Let me just get this back in for you. And I want to get back into that video. I'm so beautifully sorry that I stole you away. Let me get back onto this video because I want to, we got to have an understanding, of how this is going. I'm here with y'all, man. I'm doing this with y'all for y'all, man. Like I'm trying to tell you that contrary to popular belief, a lot of people trying to figure out as many, schemes and scams as they can create to get as much as they can up out of the hood because they ain't really from the hood. Like just living in the hood don't mean you from the hood. because there's different aspects of what it means to be from the hood. But then when you come from, like, you know, like I'm explaining to you, first floor, second floor, third floor, there's different levels to it. So like when you get a better understanding of how some of these brothers are able to come up out of these little spaces that they came from, reach back and manipulate the hood, it all appears to be more easily seen once you understand the design and the template behind the methods that they're using. Because they're using the same template method that they've learned from governments, marketing, like businesses. Like I'm telling you, it's all the same. Seriously. But I'm just showing you that, man, I literally have every bit of my heart inside of this for my people. Like I will do anything for my people. And by my people, I just mean people that are sleeping, don't know no better. People that are victims and are being oppressed and are turning to their oppressor for justice and liberation and freedom when their oppressor has no intention to free them. When they don't even know that the oppressor is the one oppressing them to begin with, or that the person they're reaching out to for consultation or consolation is the oppressor. You see it? So yeah, let's get into this, family.
Some information is the exclusive privilege of a select few. These are the 3 levels of the library. Right above the 3rd level, representing the final degree of Freemasonry, there is this view of the pyramid. This is where the Freemasonry ends and the elite Illuminati begins. Directly beneath the apex of the pyramid is this geometric floor pattern, with a crystal embedded in the floor at the center. There are 6 squares representing the number of man, and each square of course has 4 sides, which is the number that represents the world. The crystal in the center lies directly under the apex of the pyramid. This is similar to the sun symbol embedded at the center of the Capitol crypt in Washington, D.C. The entrances to the courtrooms themselves look like this. They are said to resemble ancient Jewish tombs. Apparently in some Jewish tombs there were holes where the soul was supposed to leave. They have retained these holes in the courtrooms, perhaps to allow spirits to come and go in a similar manner. Again, notice the contrast between the old and the new here. The prison cells, the courtroom, and the judges' quarters are placed one on top of the other, symbolizing the tiered society as proposed by Plato and the Enlightenment thinkers. The ruling elite at the top, represented by the judges' quarters, the auxiliaries like the police and civil servants in the middle to enforce the decrees of those at the top, represented by the courtroom, and the massive ignorant prisoners below. This is one of the courtrooms. The judge is illuminated by a natural source of light at the far end, symbolically representing the light of the divine, guiding their wisdom. They retire to their quarters at the top tier to make a decision and then descend back to the courtroom below to bring their illuminating wisdom to the world. Now let's start making our way outside. No occult structure would be complete without the obligatory sexual symbols, and the steps outside the courtrooms provide this feature. Again, this needs little explanation. Once outside the building, we are then invited to visit the Dorothy Rothschild Grove. We find this plaque on the wall with the arrow. Alongside it, we also find this plaque, which also contains an all-seeing eye. Sorry about the quality of these, I couldn't find anything more clear-cut. When we follow the arrow, though, to the Dorothy Rothschild Grove, we find this monument, which is obviously an obelisk, an Ashtoreth pole. If we then go to the centre of the parking facilities from here, we find this shape on the ground. Now, some people have suggested that this represents a cross so that people can trample on it as they descend down the steps. I don't personally buy into this theory. To me, it just looks like a sun symbol. All these things, again, are just evidence of the Rothschilds' occult influence.
Said to control.
Yes, honers. Man, all I'm doing, man, is bringing all this information together, man, for everybody, so that, because whether you know it or not, a lot of this stuff, a lot of us already know. Individually, with the particulars, we already know. But the only thing is, it's like when you get to see all of it put together at the same time, it makes it a little bit easier for you to, you know, connect some dots with a lot of the stuff you already got inside your head. You see what I'm saying? Like, be it that, you know, one way or another, either you agree with a lot of the things that I'm saying, you totally agree with the direction I'm heading, or you just think that I'm, you know what I'm saying, like totally off base. Either way it go. But I'm just saying that a lot of us already have a lot of this information and awareness, because a lot of us ain't new to suspecting that our government been up to some you know, some crazy things. But now I'm finna show you something, because I don't want you to say, hey, it's the government, it's the government. Well, you know what? It's the government. Yeah. It ain't just everybody in the government, because everybody in the government, whether you know it or not, don't know how to play the game, and they ain't playing the game. They haven't been included into the game yet. You know, you got to be proven worthy of being into the game. You know what I mean? They ain't just gonna bring you in the game, like straight up. It's just ain't no different than, man, what we going through. So let me show you something. And I had it. I don't know what I did with it, but I'm gonna pull it up right now so y'all can see this. Let me make sure y'all with me. Stick with me. My typing ain't too good either. I'm finna show y'all something, man. Okay, because wait. Oh, you don't want to give it to me, huh? All right. Play the game. Don't worry about it, family. Coming back up out of this one. Because they better quit playing. Matter of fact, you know something? Hold on. I knew they was going to take it off. Well, check this out, though. Hold it. Just stay right there for a second. I know you see a dark screen. Don't trip. I'm opening something up. Because you know something? I knew they was going to take it off, man, that I was going to try to go back to it, and it was going to be doing that. But I'm going to show you something. That's why I saves this stuff. I takes it and literally pastes it inside of my document. Like, I keep this stuff, man. And it be for reasons like this right here. So just stay with me, family. Stay with me. I gotta find it. What was it? One second. I'm just looking for, because I'm gonna show you something that's real serious. It's called Operation Talpiot. I know a lot of y'all probably done checked it out. A lot of y'all probably haven't. No, not that. Let me go up into here. Give me 1 second. I know I took it. No. Give me 1 second. Man, I just need to find this for you, see? Because I actually, I saved this document for this reason. I just, oh, wow. Where did it go? This is so crazy. I know it's in here. You know something? I don't know what happened to it, family. You know what I'll do? That's what I will do.
Hello, all the tricks are happening, the Snowden video. There it is there, 53 views, but it won't show up on my main page. Like there, it just does not show up at all. I'm not standing for
half the wealth of.
1 second, I know I'm tripping. I just want to show y'all what this means. But basically, what Operation TLPID is, man, is just showing you that it is Jerusalem that has, it's Israel that's literally running everything, bro. Like, I'm serious. Yeah, hey, look, I ain't too technical, man. So, you know, you got to bear with me on this, man. Trust me, you understand why another time they didn't have this stuff where they had me on my life, brother. So, you know, I'm just honored to be able to, you know, function and operate one of these things. Let's see. Here, let's go. Now, okay, so see, I see it's showing kind of blurry, man. Hold on 1 second. And I don't know why it's doing that, but I'm gonna read this off anyway. You can see this where it says up here, Operation TLPI, right? Deep State. You guys can look that up. Deep State, just to get an understanding on it. Operation TLPI. It says, you think we are a tiny country? No, no, no. We are everywhere. I'm going to show you something about Israel. In a mix of rhetoric of conspiracy theories and the valid assessments being made by observers of the shifting balance of power in the world today, Operation TLPI is at the center of a lot of new buzz. The premise is that Israel may have kill switches on most of the world's infrastructure. What is the potential impact of Operation TLPI? While it depends entirely on what you believe is possible with the technology allegedly controlled by Israel, it is arguably questionable why any country would need control over some of the interests involved in the claim. Some of these include PHP web software, New Zealand's police 111 system, kill switches in key infrastructure like Fukushima's power plant. Is there any evidence, depending on your point of view? Yes, perhaps. The TLPI program is perhaps the best reflection of the Army's technological drive. The unit, one of the most selective in the military, was formed in the wake of the 1973 war, when Israel was caught off guard and lost some 2,500 men. One of the lessons was that we need a technological edge over our enemies, and we need to develop this edge from within, says TLPI's commander, Major Amir Shlachik. I don't know how to say it. Shlachik. Who's gonna help me out with that? Shlachik. Shlachit. Shlachit. Or Shlachit. I don't know what made me even try to pronounce it with an extra syllable in there. In Israel, where military service is mandatory, more than 5,000 young people apply to Talpi each year, hoping to be among the 50 or so accepted. They must pass a grueling battery of tests in math, physics, group dynamics, leadership skill, and intelligence. And you know what, I remember seeing on the news, they was explaining something about the Israel's Talpi program and how anybody like the Africans and stuff like this that wanted to stay in Israel, that were being forced to leave Israel, and this was just a couple of years ago, had to agree to sign up for this program. So just imagine. Now here you have Israel, a place that I'm showing you has been purchased, right? Literally purchased by the Rothschilds. Not owned or fought for, not conquered or demanded, no, purchased, bought and paid for. You have them manipulating, first and foremost, the entire world banking system. If you don't know that this is the reason that Muammar Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, all of these different presidents of these other countries, Hosni Mubarak, you see what I'm saying? Nobody is talking about this brother no more. Hosni Mubarak, when America invaded Bahrain, and what was the other place? It was another place right before they even got down on Gaddafi like that. So what you got to understand is, it's not that your government is doing this. Your government is just being used, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a pawn game. It's a game they're playing. The only people that don't understand the game that's being played are the people at the bottom. That's literally believing in the propaganda that your government is here to protect you. They're a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It was probably like that in the beginning. It was, because the slavery story is not real. So when we start to discuss how did America become a nation, first of all, let's take the slavery story up out of it. Then you will start to see how certain things were being able to be put into play inside of those days of what we would consider as days of slavery. You see what I'm saying? And I mean, like back into the 1700s and things like this, when we were still Tartaria, because I can show you even under the national development CIA documents up until what, 1964, it was Tartaria still existed. And I can show you how even through the maps that way hundreds of years ago, way before Christopher Columbus, which is not even a real person, they had the Avarice, or they call it the Avarice or Avarice map. So like, go back and study this, that all of the history that these people have fed to us and down our throats is a lie. And I'm not telling you to jump on board and start just accepting everything else that I say or anybody else say. But is it or is it not worth utilizing as much information as possible to gather a better recollection of who and what you are, so that you can snatch yourself up out of this state of amnesia? So now let me get back into this, man, before I turn into a brother minister deacon on y'all up in here. Now, depending on your point of view, yes, perhaps the Talpi program is perhaps the best reflection of the Army's technological drive. The unit, one of the most selective in the military, was formed in the wake of 1973 war, when Israel was caught off guard and they lost 2,500 men. I just said that. Now, in Israel, where military service is mandatory, I just said that. Now, the reward, a 9-year commitment beginning with 3.5-year dual bachelor's degree program in mathematics and physics at Hebrew University in Jerusalem. Vacations are spent jumping out of airplanes and participating in other military exercises along the way. Roughly 1 out of 5 soldiers leave the program. Schlachett said, 1 out of 5 leave it. You see what I'm saying? So let me go up in here and show y'all something, man. Y'all better get up into this, man. Let me see. Now, the NASDAQ traded, okay, hold on. You learn self-confidence, not to be afraid of anything, right? These are the things that they're teaching them. So hold on, I'm sorry, right? Those who survive go on to careers as officers in some of the military most prestigious operations. And we all understand what military industrial complex of America is, huh? Mostly in research and development projects, Slatchet said. From there, the 500 odd Talpiot grads have tended to find their way to the upper echelons of business and academia, he said. So let's go now into the NASDAQ traded biotech company. Who is it? Compugen? I don't know who that is. COMPUGEN. So whoever this is, it's a NASDAQ traded biotech company, and we know what biotechnology is. So when they get to talking this biotech and, you know, like names like Globodyne and, you know, I mean, we know what that type of stuff means, man. Now it says that the NASDAQ traded biotech company Compugen was formed by three of Almogy's, and I don't know if that's pronounced correctly, ALMOGYS, Talpiot's comrades of fourth More Amitia, right? AMITAI. I don't know how to spell it. The first name is Moore, MOR, just in case y'all want to look these people up. Now runs the company, right? So now what they're showing. Amitia says some of the most complicating work he ever did was during his time in Talpiot. The experience of sometimes succeeding almost always is part of a team involving something that really seemed impossible. I think this is something we took with us, he said. USA Today, 2004, note the date. We need to go back and understand, man, that, hey, listen, man, these people have a real live program going on. And that program they got going on, it's doing a lot. And I want to go up in here and show something. Let me see if y'all got my, let me see if y'all get my images. These, you know, we're gonna get up into some more pictures too. You know, I brought these pictures for a reason. It's a conspiracy. My computer is moving slow. It's the government. Believe it or not, it is, but it's okay. Like I'm not finna jump all off into the, hey, it's a conspiracy thing, but I understand a lot. I want y'all to see these nice pictures I got. 1776 to 1913, mortally wounded by the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. America has been long gone, man. Look at all of this, man. We have been long gone. Look at this, man. These people they ain't playing. And you see who back here. You know they done bought him, right? Alex Jones and what's the other dude, man? Forgot them niggas, man. But yeah, they done bought them. And you gotta think, man, a lot of people scared. A lot of these niggas, man, and I'm sorry, a lot of these brothers, a lot of these people, when these people come to them, man, with that information, they scared. Like you gotta think, man, these people are afraid to go to the depths of the great beyond. You know, these are places where I started life out at. I started life in the great beyond. And ain't never been nowhere else other than that, whether you know it or not. I just got information in the great beyond. I'm funneling now. Yeah, look at these people. Y'all who know him? Adolfo Nicholas, right? Satan's top hitman, the two Jesuit generals. You got the white pope, the gray pope, and the black pope, right? This the gray pope right here. He runs it all. He's the honcho. Then, you know, then it'll be him. Then it's him, right? But this is him. This is your pope with no makeup on. Yeah, this is who, yeah. Don't act like y'all don't know him. Don't act like you don't know who Massa is. Call him your Massa. Now, who is these people? Now, man-made religions. I want y'all to identify this. Excuse me. John Smith created the Baptist religion in 1608. Charles Parham created the Pentecostal religion in 1901. Joseph Smith created the Mormons religion in 1830. Charles T. Russell created the Jehovah's Witness religion in 1872. And William Miller created the Seventh-day Adventist religion in 1863. And you see all of these evil suckers. And I don't give a damn. They look evil. Look at him. He racking up off y'all asses, man. And listen, this is a great deal of how they're used. Boy, y'all don't understand what these satellites and what this technology and stuff is, man. Seriously. So I just wanted to show y'all a few photos, man. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's most, oh my God, I got to show y'all this because somebody asked me about this. Somebody literally asked me about, because they did not show up inside of my other slide. And I want you to be able to see some of these beautiful, beautiful Tartarian pictures. Oh yeah, these people lie to us. Watch this, hold on. Yeah, they lie. Tartaria everywhere, baby. I'm seeing, let me go through these. Tartaria everywhere. Come on, baby, come on. And I mean literally, man. That's what I was telling y'all, like the Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China ain't the Great Wall of China. That's the Great Wall of Tartaria. That wall was built to keep the encroaching Chinese people out of Tartaria. Yeah, why it ain't loading? I'm trying to let it load up, man. Gotta let it load up for y'all. See, I ain't got time to play these games. Hold on. It'll keep playing with me, man, but I gotta go back in for y'all. You know how I do it. I'm with it. So now here we go. A day in the life like a brother named Quick. Hold on. These are all Tartarian infrastructures, right? Yes. St. Petersburg, Russia. These are Tartarian infrastructures. Y'all see what this is? The Reichstag dome with the coil inside. Oh yeah, and I know y'all know my bro 7. He been it. Oh yeah, he broke that down. Let me show y'all, man. This is Berlin. This is Berlin. Y'all see this, man? Let's go. These are all Tartarian infrastructures everywhere. I'm going all around the world with you for you with this one. Yes, look at this beauty. You see this? Tartaria. Yeah, they don't like this. You can go to Secret Energy, man. They got a video on your blog. It's called, what is it? The Most Hated Bird. It's discussing the griffin, which is the Tartarian bird anyway. So let's go. It's a Tartarian symbol. I got something else I'm gonna show you up in here. Well, I can't show you this other part yet because my blog ain't got released yet. So I don't want to, put it out yet. Who knows? It might get released. It might not. But in the meantime, I'm gonna give it some more time before I release it. Excuse me. India. This is India. That was a beautiful, man, look at that beautiful building. United States, San Francisco, 1915, Tower of Jewels. Left, Italy, Rome, Pantheon, Russia, Moscow, St. Basil's Cathedral, Complex 5. Look at that, man. That is so beautiful. You can't say that these infrastructures ain't literally beautiful. Anybody that don't understand the beauty in this really have been desensitized. And you are in great trouble. Look at that. I'm giving y'all some time. You can go back and replay this video, but I just want to get through here so I can show y'all some of these beautiful infrastructures. Washington, D.C., Italy, India, Cairo, Turkey, Italy, Jerusalem, Myanmar, Salamanca, India, Italy, Rome, Russia, St. Petersburg, Washington, D.C. Yeah, the Tartarian obelisk. Did y'all know that that was a Tartarian design? Yes. Called the Washington Monument, is one power tower to light the city. And that's how all Tartarian infrastructures are designed and built. They literally abstract electromagnetic energy from the ethers naturally and project and channel that power throughout the community or the environment to provide energy to everybody. Now, let me also say that the Tartarians are the ones that specialized in cymatics. And this is where we actually get cymatics from, because not only were the design, structure, and layout of the buildings placed inside of a specific type of a design, but the way they were designed, they allow the flow of this electromagnetic energy to be channeled throughout the community in such a way that even the cymatics of those waves were what they called healing properties in the community. Seriously. Now, I know a lot of people know that we use 440 hertz right now, since the British Parliament or whatever actually, they make a lot of rules for everybody, don't they? Made that little law or whatever, that's what we should use. And you got to go back into this and study the history of it, man. And I even got that. I know I saved that too. And I got to pull that up inside of one of my OneNotes. But yeah, I save everything. But it just goes to show you that at one point in time, even when they transitioned from the 432 hertz, which was also not the correct frequency of the planet, whether you know it or not. If you go back and study way before then, it was 420 hertz. They used 420 hertz. In fact, what is that guy's name? The great, was it Beethoven? If I'm not mistaken, his, it might have been Beethoven, but and I don't want to stick my foot in my mouth, man, but just look it up. 420 hertz was the original frequency that they were using. And, we went into 432 hertz, and I think that came about somewhere in Germany, the 432 hertz. And then the 440 hertz was actually switched by way of the British to destroy and smash DNA. So now, let's get to some more of these. China, Shanghai, US, Washington, D.C., China. You see these? That's the Eiffel Tower. Oh yeah, I'm getting them today, baby. Oh yeah, we getting them in there today. I want y'all to see these. I took more time than I even thought I was, get up in here and get these out to y'all, man, so y'all can see this. I owe y'all this, baby. And don't get it wrong. I know it's a lot of people out there, they getting it in. But guess what? They ain't me, and I ain't them. And I'm going to do this the way I do this, which is the best way. Hey, listen, man, I'm going to bring my energy with y'all, man. I know a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? They get all caught up with this information and they start trying to make it seem like they the only ones know this, or that this is their information. They discovered it themselves. They found this buried inside of some tomb. It was left there specifically for them. Not me, man. I'm a realist. I'm not painting no fictitious and fake pictures of anything to try to capture and, encapsulate anybody's attention. No, man, we're going to keep this all the way real. I'm getting tired of all these fake conscious brothers today. Interweaving and inbreeding they conscious mumbo jumbo jargon into the consciousness of the people so that they can start asking for money. Hey, man, if you hurting, just be honest. The people they got you. Stop lying to get it. You think we won't reach out to help you if you keeping it real with us? You damn right we will. You the only thing we got to keep us floating, keep us relevant, and keep us posted. Yeah, we gonna look out for you. Who wouldn't? You see the stuff that we invest stupidly in, you know we're going to give you something. Indonesia. I love the deep. Boy, I want to build me something like this right now. Sorry about that. Yeah, these are screenshots, as a matter of fact. I see I had to clear that out. Oh, yeah. Hey, man, I remember these old churches, though, man. I know y'all remember these, Joe. Listen, this is what they doing, man. Like all of these wars and, bro, they painting these crazy pictures, man, because whether you know it or not, these, man, we just coming up out of one of the most devastating or tragic events to, you know, occur on this planet, man, within the last couple of 100 years ago, seriously. And because these people came up out of there, you see what I mean? And since we came up out of that cataclysm like that, these people been wrestling and encroaching the reality for power, man, trying to take over the, you know, like the entire space of reality. They went hard against Tesla because they know that Tesla was trying to instill or, you know, like enlighten the world on how to abstract free energy. And they was trying to, no, charge. Ain't none of that. They, you know, they shut all that down, man. Free energy. And that's how he was, you know, this is what's giving us the energy, brother. The buildings, these are Tartarian infrastructures that are literally used to abstract electromagnetic energy. And these people literally still use them and sell us the energy, bro, like they tripping. But now they're trying to destroy all of them. They bombing all of this architecture everywhere around the world. This is what it's about. So they're destroying all of this and then redesigning all of this fictitious fake architecture that they have that create a dead energy structure. Seriously, there's a way that you can design buildings that literally are dead energy structures. Like the way your hospitals are designed. The way, like, man, you're not designed to heal in a hospital. Hospitals are designed, they're designed to actually create that disastrous energy. All of this, man, all Tartarian infrastructures. And you see they all use this specific type of quarry stone, limestone, rock stone, whatever. And they was cold at designs, man. These are all old infrastructures, man. So don't be sitting there letting these people lie talking about some, we was just straight dumb. Man, this stuff was here. And if you didn't realize that, man, that's where you get all these mud flood cities from. They dug all of this stuff out and they still digging stuff out all around the world, tombs and all of this stuff, finding giants inside of them with stuff buried with them, artifacts, and you see what I mean? Fairies inside. Like I'm telling you, man, you'd be surprised at all of the stuff that these people are going to discover. They're discovering and keeping you out of the loop of. Because I'm telling you, bro, they are literally trying to control every facet of your reality. But because you don't know how magnificent what we exist inside of or what you are, you think that you are just this human thing. You don't understand how important it is that they find so much interest in controlling your reality. I'm serious, man. It's very important that you control the flow of your own reality. You're going to have to incarnate or reincarnate back into a space, literally, that's being designed and etched into the fabric of your next form of reality based upon the energies that you are using and that are interwoven into your consciousness right now. And I mean that like by way of all your belief systems, experiences, judgments, just everything. And you don't realize how much devastation, pain, and darkness exists back there behind all of your thoughts and ideals. Yeah, man, this is all Tartarian infrastructure, all beauty. Look at this, man. Look at that. Just think of it, though, man, how beautiful the world was before they start wanting to go to war. Think of where we can be at right now as a whole planet of people. Think of the type of technology we got access to. All of these people out here homeless with nothing. You got people sleeping under bridges, behind dumpsters, in dumpsters, and all of the stuff. Oh, my God, man, I don't even want to go into this, man. Everybody got more than they need. Everybody got enough to spare. Everybody got enough to give. There should never even be a such thing as a homeless person or a hungry person. There should never even be a such thing as a prison. There should never be a such thing as an insane asylum. We don't understand that the people that are creating these institutions are also creating the predicaments that we are, being caught up in. They're creating all of these different chemicals and different technologies in the reality that are manipulating these type of behaviors and characteristics inside of us so that they can create on the outside of those infrastructures other institutions that are built around like a saving grace moment. Meanwhile, we don't realize it's them doing it. It's like the person that shot your house up, right? Killed your family. It's the same people that you call to come and help you find out who did it. Like, seriously, man, this is what I'm trying to say. They're poking you at both ends. And I'm just going through these pictures, man, so y'all can see these. Yeah, man, these are all beautiful sights. And, like I say, man, you can go all the way back through it, man. And something else that I'm going to actually just go ahead and push up here so that you guys, matter of fact, I'm going to play this video of some other structures where, well, actually, something else, man. I'll save that for the next time. I know I done had y'all a couple of hours. Anyway, I just wanted to get all of this in here, man. Come up in here and show y'all something, because for the most part, we got to understand who's doing all of this. We cannot ignore this anymore. And if you have listened to this video and you have gotten this far, then I'm encouraging you to reach out to me, reach out with me, connect to me. Build another link inside of this broken chain that we can use as a resource that, man, we need to be able to come up with a better plan. Now, a lot of us already have great plans, but these plans are only effective if we're connected together and able to utilize them and roll them out as, examples inside of our own realities. So yeah, man, listen, connect with me. Let's go. Let's build. Let's get this together, man, so that we can protect ourselves from what these people got planned or in store for us. Wholeness, I just wanted to say that, before we get to the end of it, man. I do love y'all. And yeah, for the most part, man, I hope this video was, good enough information for you. I hope it was enlightening enough to give you a lot more information. And I hope everything actually worked out for you guys, man. Tune in next Wednesday around the same time, and I have some more information for you. Thank you.